Hey y'all, I've been teasing this video and keeping things secret for a few months now. Well, it's finally time to do the grand reveal and show you exactly what I've been working on and what I've been keeping so quiet. Let's go inside and you'll see what I'm talking about. And what I have been working on is sheathing the interior walls. The material I chose to sheathe the interior walls is T111 siding. Now the reasons for that are many. Number one, I wanted good, strong interior walls because I'm going to want to hang things from the walls. I didn't want to go with drywall, and my original choice of 1/2-inch plywood was just too expensive. One of the advantages of having this much power in this shop shed is that I have outlets all over the place where I can plug in tools and extension cords. One of the disadvantages is I have all those outlets I have to mark out for, then cut the T111 siding so that I can get to that outlet. Well, after getting the hole cut, I secured them up with a couple of screws. Then I sanded the entire wall down with 120 grit sandpaper just to remove splinters and any kind of rough nastiness. Then I went back with my framing nailer and 2.5-inch nails and secured all of the panels to the studs. I then sped up the process just a little bit by cutting all of my sidewall panels to the proper height and then marking them out. Cutting out the holes for the electrical service. Attaching them with 1 or 2 screws, spacing them about 1/2 inch up above the floor. And sanding. And more sanding, and a little bit more sanding. Did I mention sanding? Marking out the door was real easy. I took a full-size sheet, marked out my electrical outlet, and then traced around the inside of the door frame. For over the door, I took some of my cut-off pieces and ripped a couple of strips. Now, the wall panel around the electrical panel is attached with screws only. I did not use any nails. I want to be able to come back and remove this panel when I go to add wiring for dust collection and a compressor. Now these spacers that I'm putting in on the gable ends are going to allow me to attach a panel, a trim piece, above the siding yet below the gable end siding. The channel this creates is an electrical chase that will allow me to run wiring from one side of the building to the other. Then I used 5.5-inch wide tongue and groove cedar to panel the gable ends. and these were attached with 1.5-inch brad nails. Then, of course, that led to more sanding. The little piece of scrap is to keep the sandpaper away from the painted ceiling. Speaking of paint, then it was time to mask off the ceiling I had already painted. I had tried using this 12-inch wide masking paper to mask off the area over the electrical chase I had made in the ceiling panels, but then decided I didn't need to do this. Of course, I covered the electrical receptacles as well. To mask off the ceiling, I used a 0.5 mil thick plastic drop cloth. Used plenty of tape to hold it up. It took 2 of these drop cloths to cover the ceiling, and of course I taped up the center joint. All masked up and ready to go. Then it was time to bust out the Wagner Control Pro 130 airless sprayer again and give the walls 2 coats of a multi-surface primer. The reason for the primer is this siding is very thirsty, and the primer is rather inexpensive as compared to paint. So I use less of the wall paint on the walls than if I hadn't have sprayed the primer. It also gave it a good neutral base color. I sure love this airless paint sprayer. It took me a grand total of 16 minutes to paint the inside of this shop. Now the gable ends are painted the same almost charcoal color as the ceiling, and it blends right in, as again I wanted these areas to just disappear in the background of videos. This is the actual color of that almost charcoal. So you can see that the color is not as dark as it looks on video. Then it was time to mask that finished paint job so I could spray the wall color, which is a slightly lighter shade of gray. With the paint shortage being what it is, I could not get a 5-gallon container of the paint for my walls. So what I'm doing in this shot is called boxing the paint. Basically, paint comes in boxes of 2 to 4 gallons, and when you box the paint, you empty them all into one container. So if there's any difference in the shade after mixing 5 separate containers of paint, you blend them all together so you only have one color. And of course the PPE is again real important. It's also important to cover your entire body with the Tyvek suit while you're spraying. Now you can see that that is a lighter color than what I had painted the ceiling. Again, it looks darker on video than it actually is. Then, of course, it was time to remove all of that masking paper again. There you can get a little bit better look at the difference in the ceiling color versus the wall color. And I did have to go back and touch up a few areas where the tape removed some soft paint, but I touched those up with the paintbrush later on. And of course, going back and removing all the tape from those electrical receptacles. And then putting the device covers on, of course. And then button up the electrical panel. Then it was time to put all of my electrical chase panels back up. I'm going to go back in a little bit later on and add some more screws, I think. So that's where we sit right now. And I still have a lot of work to do. I still need to cut down the covers that are going to cover these electrical chases back here along the back wall and above the double doors in front of me here. I also need to make, paint, and install the moldings that are going to cover the gap between the ceiling and the gable ends. I also need to make the baseboards and get the flooring installed. That's going to be in the next video. So we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this one up right here. But before I do, let me just give a major thanks to everybody who has watched my videos, to everybody who has shared my videos, for everybody who has joined me for the live Q&A sessions every Sunday and have hit those super chats and super stickers, and everybody who has clicked the donate buttons down in the descriptions of these videos and on my website, marklindsaycnc.com. I want to thank you for the bottom of my heart, because without you, none of this would be possible. I keep saying I have the greatest viewers on YouTube, and your generosity proves it every day. Thank you very much. So, I know there are going to be a multitude of questions about why I chose the materials I chose, why I went with the colors I chose, why I went with semi-gloss versus satin or flat or high gloss, and a bunch more. So today at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, I'll be hosting a live Q&A session where you can ask those questions or anything else about the Shop Shed series, Vectric software, or just CNC in general. That's again today at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on my YouTube channel. And I've put a link to that live Q&A down in the description box of this video. Now these live Q&A sessions are a great reason to subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. And when you click that red subscribe button down below, click that little bell icon right next to it. Then click it a second time and set that menu to all notifications. Then you'll get a notification the next time I post a video and the next time I go live. So I hope to see you this afternoon for a live Q&A session. And as always, whether you subscribe to my channel or not, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Y'all take care. Yeah, it was bothering me too. Y'all take care.